keep it cooking. I'm not a Dave Chappelle basher. I don't care what somebody say. I'm not here to bash Dave Chappelle, but I think it's very cocky for you to stand on stage and be unfunny as long as you stand on stage and be unfunny. That is that shit because the industry chose you and allowed you to do certain.
Cause one single don't make you a hit. Stay true to who you are and don't never.
Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And so let's go ahead and get into it. And so I'm going to try to tread as lightly as possible on this particular video because this is one of those videos that will definitely get your channel, tic-tacked up. And y'all know what I'm talking about when I say that. But the other day, I was listening to comedian Corey Holcomb on his show 5150. And he said something that was interesting. He said something that was really interesting.
Can I tell you some real that I hope people don't get mad at me for saying? It ain't no coincidence the best one. Bernie Mac showed you who he was when they tried to put that little boy in his lap for that photo shoot for his TV show.
So what you saying?
Did you see that?
Steve Harvey blew up after that. What you saying?
You're sitting. Did you wait?
No.
It would be her. Abby, isn't Jeremy on the other side?
Where am I?
I'm gonna show you. Ow! All right, Bernie. He's actually gonna sit on your lap. No. Okay. Do we have another apple box? We can sit right there.
I know what happens on them shows. People just be like, oh, okay, because they don't want to ruffle the feathers.
Yeah.
So trust me, that was just a microcosm of what Bernie Mac was. That's why, in my opinion, he not around no more. I just can't prove it. My nut's too big to just be quiet forever that I see in this comedy game that must be spoken on. God! I can't be quiet no more. My nigga Dave Chappelle be bombing like a mother. I'm just keeping it real, dog. Standing up there smoking with them irregular shirts on, bombing all the time. Dave Chappelle is absolutely great in movies. Great. I didn't say good. I said great. I'm not here to bash Dave Chappelle, but I think it's very cocky for you to stand on stage and be unfunny as long as you stand on stage and be unfunny. That is that shit because the industry chose you and allowed you to do certain shit. You use that weight to stand before the people who are hoping for the best and some of my groupies to lead them in comedy hostage mode. But you can't pull that in the rooms I grew up in.
And so Corey said a lot. And I'm not going to debate whether or not Dave Chappelle is funny or not. If you think he's funny, he's funny. If you think he's not, he's not. I think Dave Chappelle is a different kind of comedian. I think Dave Chappelle is more of a George Carlin comedian, or at least that's who he's morphed himself into over the years. Because before the Chappelle show, I believe before he did the Chappelle show back in 2004, 2003, he only had one special up until then. People didn't know Dave Chappelle for his stand-up. He was a stand-up comedian, but he wasn't necessarily a household name for his stand-up. He was a household name mainly because of the movies that he was in.
It's his birthday. He gotta put his belt on with the boomerang. You've got to be the dumbest dealers in the history of the dope game. Abracadabra.
Yeah, man. All right. Now this is gonna hurt a little bit.
Huh?
I say this is gonna hurt a little bit.
Oh!
And so as I said earlier, Dave Chappelle was known more for his on-screen performances than he was ever known for his stand-up. Because like I said, prior to the Chappelle show, he only had one special.
You have a good weekend, Dave. All right, buddy. Zip it up and zip it out. Oh, all right. Zippity-doo-dah, bye-bye.
And to me, that was probably his best special. That was probably his best comedy special that he's ever done. And then he went on to do the Chappelle show, in which we all know the alleged story with that, of Dave Chappelle turning down $50 million and walking away from the industry. But not before he sat down and did this interview. And then right after that, Dave Chappelle left Hollywood. And we didn't see him until about a decade later. And subsequently, he became one of the highest grossing stand-up comedians of all time, making over $200 million since he's been back. And so a lot of the support that Dave Chappelle got, especially when he initially came back, a lot of the support was from people within the so-called black community. We were like, okay, he must be down. If he's willing to leave Hollywood and he's willing to go on Oprah and say this and that, okay, he must be down. He's conscious. He's one of us. And so we gave Dave that pass to be able to come back and be able to do the kind of comedy that he's wanted to do. And some of it's been good. But like Corey said, a lot of it's so-so, to me at least. A lot of it's kind of so-so. It's a bunch of him standing on stage, smoking cigarettes, telling stories like we're just sitting around. And it is what it is. If that's your kind of comedy and you enjoy that, then it is what it is. And I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything, but I'll just say this. I'm going to probably end with this. Nobody leaves the industry for as long as Dave did. And on the terms that Dave left, and come back and make $200 million doing the same thing that you did before you left. And you're worse at it. That doesn't happen unless there's a plot, plan, and a script. Allegedly. They didn't let Mandela out of prison after 27 years because they made a mistake or out of the kindness of their heart. Nah, there was a plot and there was a plan and there was a script for him. And he followed it to a T. No disrespect, but it is what it is. It's control. And so I think that's going to be a wrap on this particular video. Make sure you guys go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section. And make sure you go ahead and hit that like button before you leave. And as usual, peace and chaos.